Imagine this, you're knee-deep in grease, hands covered in oil, working on a car that's worth more than your entire shop. The engine purrs like a sleeping lion, but one wrong move, and you could be staring at a repair bill that'll bankrupt you. That's exactly where Jake, a small-town mechanic with a knack for fixing the unfixable, found himself one rainy Tuesday afternoon. But what started as just another job turned into a life-changing moment. One that would lead him to a forbidden romance, a hidden fortune, and a secret under the hood that nobody saw coming. If you've ever wondered how the most unexpected encounters can flip your world upside down, buckle up, because this story is about to take you on a wild ride. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone who completely threw your life off balance? One minute, you're just doing your job, and the next, you're caught in a whirlwind of money, power, and a love so intense it scares you? That's exactly what happened to Jake, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be questioning every ordinary moment in your life. Because sometimes, destiny doesn't knock, it revs its engine outside your garage and demands your attention. Here's the thing. Jake wasn't looking for drama. He was a simple guy who loved cars, lived for the smell of gasoline in the morning, and never dreamed beyond his tiny repair shop. But when a sleek black Lamborghini rolled in with a mysterious owner, a woman who carried secrets in her designer purse and danger in her smile, his whole world shifted. The car had a problem, sure, but the real mystery? Her. Who was she? Why did she refuse to look him in the eye? And why was there a locked briefcase in the trunk that definitely wasn't there for a tune-up? I know what you're thinking. This sounds like some cheesy romance flick, right? Wrong. Because what Jake didn't know was that this woman, this millionaire with a taste for fast cars and even faster lies, was running from something. And by fixing her car, he was now part of her escape plan. The question is, was she running from the law, a ruthless ex, or something far worse? And why did she keep glancing at him like he was the only person who could save her? Here's where things get really interesting. As Jake dug deeper into the car's engine, he found something that didn't belong. A tiny, encrypted flash drive hidden beneath the fuel injector. Now, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but let's just say, this wasn't just about a broken transmission anymore. This was about millions of dollars, a high-stakes betrayal, and a connection so electric it defied logic. So, do you want to know what was on that drive? Do you want to find out if Jake risked it all for a woman he barely knew? And most importantly, do you believe in love at first sight, or is trust something you earn, not something you gamble with? Stick around, because this story isn't just about a mechanic and a millionaire. It's about the moment you realize that the biggest risk in life isn't taking the chance. It's walking away from it. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss what happens next. Jake had always been the kind of guy who lived by a simple code. Fix what's broken, charge a fair price, and never ask too many questions. His shop, Midnight Wrenches, was a haven for classic car enthusiasts and locals who trusted him with their beat-up sedans and vintage muscle cars. But nothing in his 10 years as a mechanic had prepared him for the woman who stepped out of that Lamborghini. Her name was Lana De Vere, though he wouldn't learn that until much later. At first glance, she was all sharp edges, designer sunglasses, a tailored blazer, and a diamond bracelet that probably cost more than his annual rent. But the way her hands trembled when she handed him the keys? That was real. And the way she kept glancing over her shoulder, like someone might be watching? That was the moment Jake knew this wasn't just another oil change. The car itself was a beast, a limited edition Aventador with a custom matte black finish, the kind of machine that turned heads even in a city used to luxury. But under the hood, something was off. The engine stuttered at high speeds, a problem no dealership had been able to diagnose. Lana claimed it was just a quirky toy, but the way her voice tightened when she said it made Jake suspicious. He'd worked on enough high-end cars to know when someone was lying. And then there was the briefcase. He hadn't meant to see it, just caught a glimpse when she popped the trunk to grab her purse, but the way she slammed it shut, her knuckles white around the handle, told him everything he needed to know. This wasn't just about a car. That night, after Lana left with a promise to return in 48 hours, Jake did something he'd never done before. He dug deeper. The flash drive he found wasn't just hidden, it was buried, wedged into a crevice near the fuel line like someone didn't want it found. Against his better judgment, he plugged it into his old shop computer. What he saw froze the blood in his veins: blueprints, bank transfers, and a series of encrypted messages with one name repeated over and over: Victor Crane. A quick search told him everything and nothing at the same time. Crane was a billionaire tech mogul, the kind of guy who made headlines for buying private islands and dating supermodels. But the dates on those files? They matched the week Crane's fiancée had supposedly vanished off the coast of Monaco. Coincidence? Jake didn't believe in those. The hangar contained another car, a vintage Porsche 911, pristine except for one detail. The passenger seat had been removed and replaced with a locked safe built into the floorboard. Jake's hands shook as he input the combination from the note. Inside wasn't money or weapons, but something far more dangerous. A complete set of blueprints for Crane's offshore prison facility where he'd kept his enemies, along with coordinates and a security override chip. The final page was a photo of Lana standing beside a man Jake recognized instantly. His old commanding officer from the military, the one who'd framed him for the incident that got him discharged. Written on the back were 3 words that changed everything. They're still operating. What happened next wasn't just a reckoning. It was a revolution. Jake used the Lamborghini as collateral to fund a team of mercenaries, all former soldiers who'd been wronged by the same shadowy network. The Porsche became their mobile command center as they systematically dismantled Crane's operation from the outside, leaking documents to journalists while Lana worked her magic on the inside. The final confrontation took place at a gala where the world's most powerful criminals had gathered to reform their empire. Jake arrived in the Lamborghini, dressed in a tuxedo he'd bought just for this moment, while Lana descended the grand staircase in a blood-red gown, their signal to strike. As alarms blared and panicked elites scrambled, she grabbed Jake's hand and whispered the truth. She'd never been Crane's sister. She was the daughter of the man who'd created this network, raised to inherit it before she turned against her own blood. The last scene plays out like something from a dream. Jake and Lana standing on a private runway at dawn, the Porsche and Lamborghini idling side by side. She presses a button on her phone, and every offshore facility in the network simultaneously broadcasts its crimes to the world. "Where now?" Jake asks, and for the first time, Lana smiles without any shadows. "Anywhere but here," she says, tossing him the Porsche keys. The cameras would later capture 2 cars racing toward the sunrise, but what the footage misses is the moment they veer off onto separate roads, not out of fear or betrayal, but because some loves are meant to burn fast and bright, leaving behind something more permanent than togetherness: change. So here's the real question the story leaves us with. Do we chase the people who change us, or do we become the change they saw in us? That Lamborghini still sits in Jake's shop, now with a not-for-sale sign hanging from the mirror. Customers ask about it sometimes, and he just smiles and says it's waiting for its next great adventure. Because the truth is, we're all just one chance encounter away from becoming someone new. The only difference is whether we're brave enough to turn the key when opportunity knocks. Or in Jake's case, when it revs its engine and leaves tire marks on your heart. If this story gripped you, imagine what's coming next. Hit that subscribe button because the next tale involves a bartender, a missing diamond, and a love letter that arrives 20 years too late. But that's a story for another day. For now, tell me in the comments. Would you have taken the Porsche or the Lamborghini? And more importantly, would you have been brave enough to walk away?